Welcome back to Starr Rock, where it's always about rock music. Last week I gave you the bottom 5 of my top 10 bands of all time. Now it's time to finish that list with my top 5 bands that are dearest to my heart. These 5 bands captivated me as a music fan and played a major role in shaping me as a musician. So let's count them down with our bad selves. Arguably the leaders of the new wave of British heavy metal movement in the 1980s, Iron Maiden continues to defy the odds to this day with consistently high-selling albums and massively successful world tours. So it's no surprise that they are another band whose name has become synonymous with the expression heavy metal. I cannot even begin to specify when and how I was introduced to Iron Maiden's music because they have seemingly always been there, like family and chocolate. Chocolate. What I can tell you is that aside from liking a couple of random songs, I really didn't become a fan until after I started to learn how to play the bass. I had bought a songbook of various heavy metal hits, which included notation for the song The Trooper. This predated YouTube and Napster, so I actually went ahead and bought the Peace of Mind album for a reference point to learn the song, and I just couldn't stop listening. I became so enamored with Iron Maiden's music and mesmerized by bass god Steve Harris's performance that years later, I would actually join an Iron Maiden tribute band, playing those very same bass lines that I viewed as gospel. There is so much to love about Iron Maiden as a musician, as they are very technical. As a heavy metal fan, they can be aggressive without being really heavy. And as an intellectual, their lyrics and musical themes draw from all the best concepts from medieval stories right up until modern world events. My star picks for Iron Maiden are Phantom of the Opera, Wasted Years, and Die With Your Boots On. It's hard to imagine that there was a time when I was very young where I not only didn't like thrash metal, but I even dismissed it the way parents would be turned away from mainstream heavy metal. And Megadeth was one of those bands that epitomized and even helped define the standards for thrash metal. As one of the big 4 of thrash metal, Megadeth continues to be successful today and even have won 12 Grammy Awards. My first few exposures of Megadeth consisted of random videos on MTV's Headbangers Ball, as I would use as an opportunity for a bathroom break or to get a snack. That was until I saw the video for Anarchy in the UK. So then my thought was, okay, they kick ass covering some old punk song. Alright, I like one Megadeth song. But then, MTV had some kind of contest a couple of years later, whose details I cannot even recall, but it promoted the hell out of Megadeth's then new release, Rust in Peace. And the commercial featured the riff from Holy War's The Punishment Due that leads to the end of the song. And I couldn't help but to feel intrigued. A few weeks later, I bore witness to the video for Hangar 18, and it was like the siren's call. I could not get enough of this song, even though it was far out of my heavy music comfort zone. A few weeks afterwards, I was in the department store where I used to always buy my music, and ended up picking up Rust in Peace, along with another band's latest, and became hooked as soon as I heard the opening riff of the album. That was the day that started me on the path to becoming a huge fan of thrash metal. Thank you, Megadeth. As a fan of Megadeth, I get to look forward to complex rhythms, superior guitar solos, brilliant lyrics, and the pure, badass essence that is Dave Mustaine. Say what you want about his attitude, the man is talent and perseverance wrapped into a warhead. My star picks for Megadeth include He Sells, Symphony of Destruction, and Tornado of Souls. They weren't the first band to be called heavy metal, but they sure as defined the genre. The true fathers of heavy metal, Black Sabbath, inspired and paved the way for everything that followed. If you like any heavy metal band at all, there's about a 110% chance that you can thank Black Sabbath for it, because anyone whom they didn't influence directly was influenced by someone who took inspiration from Black Sabbath. The heavy metal family tree has Black Sabbath sitting at the very top, but rather than co-create their metal children as an equal partner, they pollinated like a black rose. Black Sabbath is another band for me that was always there, I think since the creation of man, but it was when an older co-worker lent me a handful of his albums, including the compilation We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll, that I fell under their dark influence. For me, a big part of Black Sabbath's charm in their early releases was how well they blurred the lines between the technical, the dark and heavy, and the artistic style that was left over from the late 1960s rock music. My star picks for Black Sabbath are Symptom of the Universe, Children of the Grave, and War Pigs.
Politicians hide themselves away. They only started the war. Why should they go out to fight? They leave their all to the poor. Yeah.
Surely the most famous of the big four thrash metal, Metallica was one of those bands growing up where you had to be a metalhead to even know who they were, and a thrash metal fan to even give them a second thought. The idea that they can become as big as they have from the 1990s forward probably shocked the band even more so than it did the public. Much like how a couple of artists in this list are considered the definitions of heavy metal, Metallica are often considered the measurement of what a heavier band is. Oh, you're in a really heavy band? You mean like Metallica? When I was a boy, my older brother's girlfriend handed me down a couple of albums that she didn't want anymore. One of them was Metallica's Master of Puppets. I was not yet ready for thrash metal, but I did like a couple of songs on there, so I would just skip to those two songs with every listen. Of course, like everyone else, I got into the song One as it was all over MTV, but was a bit put off by the heavier parts at the end. Then they came out with the Black Album, and I have to admit that Enter Sandman became my gateway song to liking Metallica more. A little bit more. But when I had a friend's thrash metal cover band play at my birthday party, they included more than a handful of Metallica's songs in their set. Something about their performance awakened the fan in me, and it only got bigger and better from there. Metallica was a major influence on me, especially when I started to take up singing and playing bass at the same time. A couple of my favorite past cover bands that I was in had included at least a handful of Metallica songs, which I loved playing, and when I was in Corroded Roots, mentioned in my lyric memorizing video, more than half of our set was Metallica, to which I could not have been happier. My star picks for Metallica are Seek and Destroy,
Seek and destroy. Seek and destroy.
For Whom the Bell Tolls,
For whom the bell tolls, time marches on. For whom the bell tolls,
and Master of Puppets.
obey your master, master, master of puppets, are pulling your strings, twisting your mind and smashing your dreams.
If you've been paying any attention to my videos, or to me personally, then it should come with little surprise to know that Kiss is my all-time favorite band. Kiss was another band who played an important role in the shaping of heavy metal and evidently some other genres. In addition to the actual music they created, they also helped to set much higher standards for what a rock concert can and should be. Their stage presence is so legendary that even people who are not fans will add "go see a Kiss concert" to their bucket lists. Having seen them many times myself, I can tell you that attending a Kiss concert is well worth the money. If they haven't yet played their final show by the time this video is released, I am cutting it a bit close. I've covered my beginnings and evolution as a Kiss fan already a few times on this channel, so I'll spare you another retelling. But I will re-emphasize how Kiss is the band that made me want to pick up an instrument, made me want to pursue a career in music, and if you have ever seen me perform, then you probably picked up on how they have influenced my singing style and stage performance. My star picks for Kiss include Creatures of the Night,
We're
Domino,
Bad, happy, bad, good, good, good. They call it domino. A domino with domino.
and Black Diamond. So there you have it, peeps. My all-time top 10 bands. Links to some key releases and the respective band websites are in the description box below. Also be sure to check out part 1 if you haven't already. Or check it out again because you love a good top 10 list and like when it comes from me. Thank you so much for watching Starr Rock. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and stalk. Laters!